Good afternoon, Free Enterprise. We have a special race for you today. We have Moonblazewolf taking on our very special admin, riversmccown. I'm joined here in the commentary booth by Antidale. How are you doing today, Antidale?
I'm really looking forward to this race. It should be a very good one with two excellent runners who both went pretty deep into the last highway to the Zenith Zone. Well, Rivers didn't because he passed on it, but he went very deep into the previous.
Yeah, they're both very talented runners. You don't get to see Rivers in too many races, but when he does race, he pulls out some very interesting stuff. He's very much into the vanilla speedrun, and Blaze, he's been putting in the hours, he's been getting better all the time, and I really look forward to seeing what strategies they're using today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what vanilla tech Rivers might know, or just in general from his deep knowledge of the game, be able to pull out, and just excellent menuing skills. And
So while we're waiting to get underway here, how's your impression of the Gauntlet so far?
I've been really enjoying it. It's been a pretty nice flag set. You can generally get the party that you'd like, or at least a number of people that you want on your team. And the objectives are a good way to change up the flow of the races. How have you been finding it?
For the most part, pretty good. We've had some very interesting races and some very trolly races, so we'll just have to see what we've got here today. Unfortunately, I don't think Scala Kitty got to roll our seed today, so we might not have the most trolls. I think Poydrak was responsible for this mess, so we'll just have to see. We've got a Rosa start, though, so not too bad. We've got, I mean, that pretty much solves our late game. We just have to figure out how to get a little bit of damage going in and see how best to complete our objectives.
Yeah, and I love the objective system and how it really makes every race feel like no matter what the any potential skill disparity is, that either racer could win, just because of how it can come down to just simple choices and whether you make the right one to get started a little bit faster than your opponent.
And it looks like we are just about to get underway here. Blaze is moving to get going. Who do you want your second character to be?
With this, I wouldn't mind a Sid or a Kane to have a wide variety of weapons where you can just really get going, and then you don't have to worry about finding Rosa a bow and lean into her damage.
Yeah, I would definitely like a early physical bruiser like Sid or Kane. I'm also partial to Palom because of how quickly he comes online, but I would honestly like to see a Porom and see how these runners handle the dual white mage start.
And we get a Yang, who is not quite the physical bruiser that we desire, and a Pinktail, handed by a Lunar Spark.
Well, Yang is gonna be basically Porom without healing for a good 20 levels, so that's fine enough for me. We will have... Seeing that Lunar Sparkle is kind of interesting, especially trying to remember that for a boss hunt. We'll just have to see what our objectives are here.
Yeah, we might see extra shopping both for bows and arrows, as well as some elemental claws to really help the runners get through some fight.
Pretty neat objectives here. I saw defeat King and Queen Eblon. I saw defeat Odin. I saw get Cecil. Defeat the Ashura spot. Defeat the Vanilla Wyvern spot. So, required moon. Required boss hunts. Required character hunt. Pretty nice setup here.
Yeah, it doesn't tell the runners too much about what they need. I mean, they know they need to get underground, and they know they need to get up to the moon. But beyond that, finding the characters and the bosses will be interesting. And it looks like we found an Elven bow, and I think it was a rune axe in Damsian Base.
Yeah, that Damsian basement was loaded. I saw a Gungnir spear, a ninja sword, all sorts of stuff. That's a really nice start there for R2 runners. I'm wondering who the Hobbs character is going to be, because if they get any physical party member besides Cecil, this is going to be a very quick start for them.
Yeah, with that treasure loot instead of you to go immediately to Hobbs and then kind of bank on someone good being.
Yeah, one thing I would know about a start like this, looking at your objectives, you're probably going to think the Crystal Sword spot and the Ashura spot are going to be very... Those are not heavily gated. They're each... Like, Ashura spot might as well not be gated, and the vanilla Crystal Sword spot is almost not gated, so... those are kind of back of the mind objectives, trying to decide where the best place to end your seed is. But the two boss hunts, Sid up here behind Calbrana. I don't know if we've seen a J item to clean this out super quick. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting start here, because honestly, I think you're going to focus on check all the bosses, check all the character spots, and see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And we see Leviathan hanging out in the waterfall, so no one's going to be doing that spot today. And looking just at how Moonblaze is handling this, we have not found a J item yet, and Rivers looks like he's going to do some more shopping instead of going immediately here.
Yeah, I'm not impartial to either play. It looks like Blaze is making sure to take out an even number of the front and the back, and then he's probably going to go for cleaning both of them up in one quick go. So pretty standard play with the dolls, just trying to avoid summoning the Calcabrana. So I wonder if he planned for that kick. Ooh, not the end of the world, but a little bit slow, because the kick killed the front doll.
Yeah, but that rune axe, that's a lot of work to clean up.
Yeah, not too much of a problem this early in a seed. So that's Sid for Blaze, and actually surprised that Rivers is skipping Hobbs for the moment, and depending on what boss is down here, this could give Blaze a little bit of an advantage. We do see two very good J items, so a Silk Web and a Siren. Gonna be some very good utility depending on when our runners decide to use those.
So that black belt will be very nice for both Yang or Sid. And Line really loading down the strength boosting gear.
Yeah, that's gonna be, especially for an early Sid and a Runex, I think you just put that black belt and that headband on, you put them in the middle, another black belt for your Yang too, maybe your Rosa. It'd probably be better on Rosa right now, and just start hurting things.
And like you were saying before, with if there's a rude boss here and a Sarah here, would definitely give Moonblaze a little bit of an advantage. Rivers wouldn't have any trouble hunting it down with that Elven bow, but Moonblaze Wolf should be able to one or two shot Nasura in this position.
Yeah, with the poison arrows and the Elven bow, it's just a matter of time, especially with the strength boosting gear, but we'll just have to see how much utility Blaze gets out of this early Sid.
And our second Lunar Sparkle of the day. This is probably the best spot to see the Nope Rope here. It's going to take out Rosa right away, but Sid will definitely be able to handle the rest of the damage.
Yeah, kind of sad that Rosa takes a nap, but the EXP here isn't anything special, so Blaze will... I'm actually kind of surprised he's taking the time to even bother with the Cure 2 potions. I would have just held A, but either way works. Trying to be a little bit safe, it looks like, making sure not to take any unfortunate wipes. And we've got a legend sword, so nothing too special yet, but if we do get the adamant, since we're forced to get a Cecil, I would be picking up that X-Cow.
Yeah, that definitely helped get a Cecil online pretty fast, getting his second best weapon in the game.
Yeah, Cecil on these flags is just ridiculously overpowered when you get him anything resembling a decent weapon, since we've turned off the vanilla agility anchoring, so Cecil gets to be fast just like everyone else, and he's pretty OP when he's fast.
Yeah, he can put in a lot of work and definitely just handle the seed all on his own if you get him online fast.
So we've got Rivers heading up to the top of Hobbs. I don't think I've seen him pick up any J items either yet, but still shouldn't be a problem. Blaze showing us the boss at Fabul, and it looks like it's, let's see here, Dark Elf, so not too bad.
Now, this should be pretty straightforward. Sid might be able to hit the meat change on a very high roll, but it'll probably take Sid and Yang both punching him.
Yeah, so pretty simple seed so far. We'll see if Rivers is able to skip Calcabrana, or if he's going to have to kill the big doll just the same that Blaze did.
And one thing for Blaze, it is nice to skip getting weaked and then having the dragon punch somebody out. So it was very nice of him to get, very nice for him to get the change before the weaker the Biggie came out.
Yeah, Dark Elf isn't too bad because his health is split in these early spots, and we do see a hook. That is a fairly interesting starting or early item. I know Rivers sometimes likes to fade Fabul, so we'll see how that plays off for him. You definitely don't want to dive hook immediately, but if you put it off too long, that might lose you out on a foo or something.
Yeah, it's always an interesting gamble, especially in these flags where foo and edge are gated by having to hide behind key items, but you also could be finding maybe Poor or Edward in a seed where you don't need Eddie strats to get through something early. There are exits for sale. I think that was Mysidia.
Yeah, that if Blaze goes there before he decides to go through the hook, that's going to be even more value. He'll be able to just check the character, see the boss, get some good information, and use that to his advantage, while we see Rivers back row glitching his Sid and preparing to go up the mountain.
Yeah, and we did see Blaze pick up some Star Veils and Thor Rages in Fabul, as well as a Strength Ring out of the chest in Sheila's tower. So is Sid or Yang are getting a little more powerful as well, as Rivers is preparing to assault Mount Ordeal.
To answer Miyari's question in chat, I think you probably do ordeals either way. You have to get Cecil, so you might as well power him up, and you want those extra bosses on Fu unless you already have Nuke. If you have Nuke, then sure, do whatever you want, but if you don't have Nuke, might as well do ordeals. It'll be faster having Fu on your team either way.
And plus, with the 3 bosses and on ordeals, and you having to find and defeat 2 of them, you kind of want to play the numbers and check some early quick boss spots.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of value associated with ordeals on the flag sets, and our first boss is Peldim. That's actually a little bit bad for Rivers if he still has his base equipment on Yang, because Peldim resists all elements, so Fire Claw is going to actually lower Yang's damage a bit here.
Yeah, it looks like he does, but Sid's in the middle and is going to be doing most of the damage here anyway. We might see Rivers just pass on Yang's turn.
Yeah, Sid is just powerful enough to pretty much fight the entire old world by himself. Not the quickest to kill everything, but he gets the job done and doesn't make you wait too long, so definitely don't mind this play.
Yeah, he's not going to be worried about getting through stuff, just worried about getting through it quickly.
So we've got Rivers through the first boss, taking a safety save, can't blame anyone for that, and going into the second fight, deciding to change up his party a little bit, and this is why you go up ordeals when you have boss hunts. So that is one boss hunt out the way. I think it might be slightly faster to kill the king here, but either way, free boss, Rivers is going to get through without a problem.
Yeah, Sid might be doing enough damage to where it's faster, but it's going to be awfully close, especially since you're starting a little bit behind on ATB with the back attack.
Yeah, and it looks like Rivers is opting to just take the fire twos and go from there. Blaze opting not to take the safety save, not going to get punished for it, so all good. Closing a little bit of the gap with Rivers thanks to that, but not really much you can do to speed up here through these fights.
No, not too much, and Rivers still hasn't checked Fabul, so any perceived gap of them being on ordeals is still kind of balanced out by the fact that Rivers hasn't done a check that Blaze has.
And we have the Luca key. Not the favorite item you would like to see here, but definitely something that can lead to some very interesting situations. You can very easily have a troll boss hiding down there, or sometimes the boss isn't necessarily what you want, and instead the key item's what you want.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a runner's opportunity to kind of maybe make a mistake by checking the key item and resetting out if it's something they want without checking the boss, since we do have one more required boss in this.
Speaking of required bosses, where would you like to see Odin hiding at today?
I think I would like to see Odin at CPU. That's a pretty evil spot for Odin.
Yeah, CPU, I mean, you'll be able to kill it fairly easy. It's gonna punch and Odin for a lot of damage, but for the most part, I don't want to wish CPU boss trolls on anyone. Instead, I want to wish package boss trolls on everyone.
That's fair. Maybe behind a Porum.
That would be very fair.
And River's getting the news that he is now at a 50-50 on whether he has to skip Fabul or can skip Fabul or not, decides to just take it and go to the Monk Kingdom.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested in why you would choose this particular order. I don't remember who was in the Baron Inn, but I feel like there's no reason to go immediately to Fabul. I feel like Baron Inn into Fabul is just as good, but either way, it shouldn't be too hard for him to get through this. And then he'll be pretty much in parity with Blaze. Right now, Blaze has a small advantage in time, but I think Rivers has also checked a couple more shops in Blaze, so for the most part, our runners are just very even head-to-head so far.
Yeah, it's definitely way too soon to give either runner an edge at this point.
Yeah, that's often how these seeds go, is you're just waiting until someone decides to make that hook dive, and that's where you'll get the first real divergence in times.
Yeah, and Blade's getting the news that he does have exits and will then have a free get out of jail card for getting out of the hook dive when you see that character. I would be pretty tempted to go do that.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty tempting to go there. But then again, you might as well make it a single dive down there, and if all you have left is Baron in, I feel like you do Baron in first, because you're not going to save that much time, especially if you decide you have to reset out.
That's true, and the party is good enough to do Baron in or any of the rest of the overworld without having to really worry about getting an extra character.
It also looks like Blaze has not looted Baron yet, so getting a little bit more money. Oh, it was a Cecil in. Did either of our runners go in here?
Rivers might have, I don't remember.
Well, that's another objective off the list. So, yeah, Cecil and King and Queen Eplon down. So, just have to find that Odin, and then honestly, after that is find the Darkness Crystal, and then we're in go mode.
Yeah, this could be one of those seeds where you're starting to get anxious. Oh, and there is Golbez. Keeping his brother company in the Baron Inn.
Ooh, I just saw the alt gauntlet on River's screen. You always like seeing the alt gauntlet in some place you don't have to do, but yeah, Golbez shouldn't be too much of a problem. You might not even need a Starvel here, but after he decides to eat one of your party members, and just throw up a Starvel and start swinging.
Yeah, Rivers picking up a few vampires. Rivers should almost certainly not need a Star Veil with those vampires in hand. Yang doing a casual 1500 with that Ice Claw and a power attack.
Yeah, Yang can fluctuate from being the strongest party member to the weakest party member so quickly in the early game. The 4 times elemental damage is quite nice for someone like him when he can stack it with his ×2 attack on with power.
Yeah, I imagine our runners might be looking for a Thunderclaw just to be able to get through that Odin boss a little bit easier when they do find.
Yeah, Thunderclaw, lit arrows are also really good, especially with the Elven Bow we've already found. They are probably going to be wanting to find some Thor Rages for some possible cheese strats. That's less likely, but still plausible. But we do have our Cecil and a Rat Tail, so I'm gonna get the Rat Tail and the Pink Tail turn in, and then get to dive the hook. So looking pretty interesting right now. It's probably a hook seed, but is a hook seed with Cecil, and I don't think we've seen Curse Rings yet, so I don't know. This could turn out very interesting very quickly.
Yeah, and we'll see what we get out of the that Pink Tail. Maybe we'll get an excellent item for our Cecil. Yeah, and as chat notes, Golbez definitely had it out for our starting monk today, or the Shadow Dragon taking Yang out on both parties.
So, assuming we don't get a magma key from the rat tail, what hook boss are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, Bigan's always the one that I never like facing as a runner, but we've already gotten that out of the pool. We don't have any fatal attacks, I don't believe yet, so Dark Imps could be interesting and a little painful for the runner.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in seeing Dark Imps, but probably more so at the King and Queen spot than the Ruby spot. The Ruby spot doesn't have quite the punching power that the King and Queen spot has.
Yeah, I was thinking about the first boss they'd have to fight and not the boss that we see.
But one thing that would be interesting is if Cecil was guarding the underground. But with a Sid, we would be able to get through that with a little bit of grinding, and we get the X-Cal and the Darkness Crystal.
Well, that's a
So,
very open seed now.
yeah. So, theoretically, you're running the seed. Do you go moon and do all of that now? Or do you go straight to the underground, check for your Odin, hope that you defeat the Ashura spot pretty quickly, and then you come back up, do the Wyvern spot, and immediately go straight for the Zeromus?
With that early Darkness Crystal, if we have a moon character with weak, I possibly think about doing a quick D machine and riding that Excal Cecil all the way to the end of the game. Because he is going to get slingshot experience. You don't need everyone to get up there. And you just don't know how, but since we only have one other key item that we know that we need, it's kind of a risk.
Yeah, so definitely have to consider that D machine grind. You might not even need a D machine grind. We had that siren early. If anyone picked up mute bells, they could drop those on the warlocks on the 4th floor of the lunar subterrane, kill those really quickly, and that would probably be all the levels you need depending on what your anchor situation is. But
yeah,
the real question right now is, do you want I think Blaze is making the right choice here. You want to go and check the item shop, you want to go and check the boss and everything, see what you're up against, see what character is here, and then 90% of the time you go to the moon and you bust some stuff up.
Yeah, and you're looking to finish the seed on the moon and just walk straight down, not assuming that you probably won't be fighting the pass, since we probably don't have too many boss checks to do. And finding sirens and hourglasses in the Evelyn shop, that is very nice for Blaze.
Yeah, that's why I would slightly prefer this play, is those you get both sirens and hourglasses. I mean, there is a foo on the moon. There's so many options. Poydrak, what did you roll for us? Come on.
And I imagine both runners are feeling pretty good about their decisions right now. Blaze knows he has his grinding totally accomplished or accomplishable. It's in the bag whenever he wants to start using those sirens. And Rivers now has the most powerful, versatile mage in the game.
Yeah, and it looks like Rivers is going to... I didn't see stop on... I didn't see weak in his spell list. Is kind of curious what play he's going for right now. Is he trying to do reuse? Does he have an hourglass? Or is he just checking the boss?
I don't know. He's believing in the value in Cave Bahamut, though. Penguinator, Rivers was forced to clear Fabul in order to get the hook that he had. We have a Kane and some guards.
Wow, this just got really, really interesting because on one hand, this is super free for Blaze, but it's going to be super free for Rivers too. And Rivers is going to have that foo, but man, this is some crazy tricky routing that we're going to have to deal with here.
Yeah, it looks like Rivers still wants to do a little more shopping to get set up for some reason. I'm not sure what he's feeling he's missing quite yet. Oh, there's some ethers on Fu. We might be seeing D machines.
Yeah, if Rivers goes straight to the Octoman spot, then that would tell us that he's looking to get lucky with the weak. I'm pretty sure I didn't see weak in Fu's spell list, but I don't know. This is definitely interesting right now. It looks like he is committing. So what his plan, I'm assuming is he's going to go down here, get underground, and then planning on potentially going back up and doing a D machine grind.
Rivers checks the first chest, gets monsters, and then decides to abandon the rest of them. Or at least the rest of those first three. Yeah, and knowing it's Rivers, as both runners do, having checked Mist Cave to find the alt gauntlet, Rivers is probably feeling a little more free to sell some Dragoon gear, not knowing he doesn't need to keep it around for a net acquired alt gauntlet at Ogopogo, should such a thing be had been in the cards for the seed.
I mean, you always want your Dragoon armor, but yeah, this is... I'm definitely interested in seeing which way the seed goes. Right now, River's trying to solve some money problems. Blaze is looking for the Mad Ogre chest. I'm not sure I agree with looking for the Mad Ogre chest. I would try the King and Queen spot and look to get a sling on those guards at the Ruby spot. But either way will work. It's just a little bit of preference. I would love to get a slung Cecil and Kane in either case. Like, you can sling them on the ogres or you can sling them on the guards, but this is a little bit safer, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, and he could get an excellent piece of gear out of this chest too. That could have factored into the decision. He doesn't really have a great weapon for Kane unless he strips it of the rune axe.
And it looks like he's trying to kill off Kane to act as a temporary anchor. Can't blame you for that.
And Kane does not join the team for Rivers. And with 21 levels, that Cecil is going to do some pretty good work. Hopefully for Blaze, that work is going to be required by this initial spot and a white spear.
Well, more interesting developments so far. And I kind of wonder how Rivers is going to feel about getting a white spear right after he ditches Kane when he wasn't even really looking for the ogre chest. He was just looking for generic loot.
Yeah, I imagine he might be a little bit salty about that, but not too much.
And we have the DKC. This shouldn't be too bad. I think if Blaze lowers his battle speed and is very quick on throwing the... He's not going to get it this time, but I think if he lowers the battle speed and throws some more Cure 2 potions, he should be just fine to get Sid or Cecil through this.
Yeah, and with Fu's slightly inflated HP over Sid, Rivers might be able to do it on the first time through.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It depends on... I think Sid might be a little bit on the fast side, so... Especially after Cecil getting slunk here, I actually think there's a chance that Rivers doesn't get everything off if he goes in at battle speed 1. We'll just have to see how well he can run buffer.
And unfortunately, Blaze goes 0-2 against the Pain Man. Who is definitely living up to his name. Those 3 Dark Waves here, kind of hard for most parties to deal with at the low levels that you're normally coming through the hook route on.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with exactly all the yeah, Blaze just picking the wrong actions, but
And Dark Paladin chat
Rivers does get through with that Fu.
Yeah, that Fu that Rivers did pick up on the moon, the Dark Paladin, to answer Dark Paladin's question, Fu was vanilla, just sitting on the lunar dais, waiting for you to come up and visit.
Oh, and Blaze putting on the Drain Sword, that's going to make Rosa go first, and Rosa's going to die to a Dark Wave. Come on, Blaze. I think this is not going to be pretty if... Oh, Rosa didn't go first, but... Blaze, queue up the Cure 2 potion. Everything on Sid, everything on Sid.
Yeah, you gotta double down on your highest HP total.
No, don't split your Cure potions.
Yeah, there's no XP from this fight, so you just need to survive it. This is a little bit unfortunate for Blaze.
Yeah, he's not committing to his actions early enough. Like, just don't worry about how many Cure potions you're losing. Just throw everything on Sid immediately. Don't worry about any of that stuff, and everything's going to be fine. But this is changing the agility. Okay, putting Sid first might change things a little bit, but
Yeah.
you still want to throw everything on Sid, so you want him to go last so that he throws it on himself. This is a massive time loss for Blaze just because he's not able to handle this, and you need to queue the Cure Potion before Blaze. Before.
Yeah, with the time delay between queuing an action and it actually going off and happening, you do want to get that queued up just before the Dark Knight raises his sword to attack you.
Yeah, this is just unfortunate. Just a little bit of Blaze having a little bit of trouble here. Dark Knight Cecil in the King and Queen spot is not nice, but I don't think he fully understands exactly how the battle system works here, because essentially what's happening is it takes an extra tick. Your Cure Potions don't get inputted until the next tick. So when you're queuing it up, So I won't go into too much details, but when Blaze is waiting all the way until DKC makes his first move, that means that the Cure
Does that mean
2
that
is not going to be queued up until after DKC has already processed one tick, so there is no way you're going to be able to get your next character to go first. And then when the next character dies, then DKC is already going to have processed a tick when you insert the Cure 2, and it's going to go after him again. So you need to be on the... You need to push everything up a tick. You need to go sooner, and that will even out this disparity here. But if you're not throwing the Cure 2 potion first, it's just never going to work.
Yeah, and as Penguinator pointed out in chat, more Excals for Rivers. So if we ever find an edge, he'll be happy to toss that spare legendary sword. We find CPU and another Lunar Sparkle down at the King Queen of Fame Arch spots, and we do have to do that CPU.
Yeah, I imagine Rivers will just heal up here, and with an Excal Cecil, it's not going to take too long to get through, but yeah, it's just... obviously Rivers doesn't know this, but Blaze is having a lot of difficulty on the CPU spot, and even having to do a bit of grinding after several wipes. Yeah, this is just going to put Rivers further and further ahead. The real question is if he tries to do the Lunar Sparkle. I imagine if you're thinking, oh, I only need to get a Odin, like Odin is the last thing we really need to worry about. So do you want to go for all the checks, or do you want to just bank on Odin being on the moon and go moon happy?
Yeah, there's still a lot of bosses gated by key items. We do have the ability to check Luca, but we still have Earth Crystal, Twin Harp, and the package, as well as the Baron key gating 2 others, preventing us from really being comfortable with totally saves coming the world.
Ooch, that's a little bit disappointing for Rivers. Unfortunately, his Cecil was the victim of the first Global 99. But
Rocks fall,
we should be able
CPU
to
does
recover
not.
this pretty quickly. Yeah, CPU here, I don't know exactly how much it would have, but it should be just under 20,000 HP, so just needs to resurrect that Cecil, and this will be over pretty quickly.
Yeah, I wonder if Blaze took the time to do some of those fights, not just to get an extra HP, but maybe to get a little untilted, having gone through and felt so close so often against the Dark Knight. Maybe give himself a moment to kind of regroup and figure out his plan a little bit better.
Yeah, right now he's looking in a good spot. He just needs to have... Yes, perfect. That's... Or maybe not. Now Dark Knight Cecil is going to refuse to take his turn and just threw the Cure Potion too early, but Sid still has plenty of HP. Should survive this.
Yeah, take a... Yep, with 60 HP to spare.
Yeah, sometimes you just spend all this time working on getting something to go and just not working. Did Rivers?
Yeah, Rivers took a reset. I'm not sure if it was a wipe or just a reset entirely to just kind of redo the fight.
That is very surprising to me. I would think after already doing one Meteo, you should be fine. Just keep on hitting CPU.
I think maybe he doesn't get the cures off in time. Oh, Penguinator mentioning that maybe he Berserk locked Cecil, giving him Berserk before his turn came up.
Ouch. Yeah, that's unfortunate. If you revive someone too quickly, or you cast Berserk on someone too quickly after they revive, sometimes you just don't ever get their turnbacks unless you kill them and revive them again. So kind of unfortunate, but shouldn't have too much trouble getting it this time.
And there is a down CPU. Rivers now completed 3 of the 5 objectives.
Yeah, this is going to very quickly become interesting. If it was me, it's very, very tempting to go straight to the Wyvern spot and then just search the moon for Odin.
Yeah, and the game continuing to give him good Dragoon Spears after Kane is on the sidelines.
Meanwhile, on Blaze's side, he has gotten through DKC and he has very quickly cleaned up the guards, so he's back on track, but it's just unfortunate that he wasted 5 or more minutes because of a little bit of trouble with DKC. Just because he didn't check the moon and find that food that made everything so easy for Rivers.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, that gap is only going to grow as Fu gets more of his spells online.
Rivers going to check this other Lunar Sparkle, maybe hope it's Plague, who would be very easy to down here. And indeed, we see the floating eyeball. Yeah, definitely, as Penguinator points out in chat, it definitely would have been nice to have that Kane for this fight. Could have berserked, at this point, somewhat high-level Kane, or at least reasonable level, and just had those spears do quad damage against the Plague.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised that Rivers... It looks like Rivers is going to reflect a count. I don't know, this is a little bit surprising because Cecil Zerk should be able to take down Plague just fine. I think he was RA2, but after the fast cast he should be RA1, so I don't know, we'll have to see exactly what plans he's going for. You would need 2 Silk Webs, and I don't... Have we seen Silk Webs for So yet?
I don't remember.
I don't seem to recall them, but this should be fairly simple. Just keep on casting nukes and letting Cecil attack stuff. Not too dangerous, it's just going to need a little bit of turn utility put towards reviving people, and if he's not sure about Cecil being able to survive.
Yeah, we might see Sid and Yang kind of punch each other out here. Especially if Rosa maybe gets in on the action with a Berserk. And with the way River's using Star Veils, he doesn't need Sid or Yang to do any damage to the other. Blaze is going to have a little bit of a longer fight with CPU, not having the power of Meteo on his side.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to lose too much time. Depends on exactly what strategy he goes for, but I imagine to see Kane jumping with all the powerful stuff we've gotten so far, and Cecil, you could Berserk Cecil, not strictly necessary, but gonna be spending a little bit of time here. Meanwhile, Rivers does get the Earth Crystal, so that is an extra boss open for him if he wishes to seek that out. But I imagine this is a tough call because you know that you only have one real loose end in the seed, so when do you go? When do you go Moon and hope that it's up there, or do you keep on clearing up loose ends?
It looks like he's gonna make sure that he doesn't leave at least behind the Luca key. We might see him do Dwarf Castle because you might as well just check all of the bosses down here that are very fast to check.
Yeah, but this is definitely one of those seeds where it's anyone's game because the seed is so wide open. Literally, you could go anywhere and find the value you're looking for. We're just gonna have to see who stumbles down the right rabbit hole first.
Yeah, these are the kind of races that are a little bit stressful. You don't know. You have a good party, but you still need to find that one boss, and it can be anywhere.
I think we saw Rivers already check Cave Bahamut, so we know that definitely wasn't Odin, but I can't remember which boss he saw there.
No, I don't remember either. Zilch saying that there's the other guards. So that means the Kaipo guards were hanging out in the Value Cave. Which is a little unfortunate that there's not more XP there because that could have been a very good grind spot.
Well, confirmation that the Magma Key was not in a free chest on the moon, but as far as bosses go, let's see here. D-Lunar, so quick reset, not wanting to waste the time for an extra key item. Don't blame Rivers here. So I imagine you check at least the first boss in Dwarf Castle and then maybe you go to Earth Crystal. Definitely a few ways you could go about this, but this does leave an opportunity for Blaze to pass Rivers by just straight booking it to the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. If that Odin is actually at the spot that you need anyway, this could be a very fast end of the seed for Moonblaze. Oh, but there is our King of Baron hiding out in Dwarf Castle.
Well, that definitely does change things a little bit. There is a chance that Blaze checks that, but if he decides to go to the moon, that might end very poorly for him.
Yeah, and no Thunderclaws needed at this spot. Nuke is going to do an awful lot of damage.
I don't think 110 is a reasonable estimate, but definitely going to be a fast seed here. Definitely sub 90 minutes, but we'll just have to see exactly what boss is at the Crystal Sword spot and exactly how much Rivers wants to grind. We do have Sirens and Hourglasses, so... and how many key items do we have?
It's like 7, 8.
I think I see 9. Oh, the Magma Key is not in Rivers inventory anymore, so... minus the Magma Key, we are sitting at 8 for Rivers, so the Crystal would be number 9 if he can kill the Crystal Sword spot. If he gets another key item from Dwarf Castle, he's going to be well on his way. It's also good to note that the Wyvern spot is honestly one of the easier spots on the moon. It's got a little bit lower HP and magic power than the other spots. A higher physical attack power, but usually you can get through that without too much trouble. And Moonveil would definitely be another way of getting through it with no trouble.
Yeah, that will make that spot almost entirely free, no matter who is there. And Blaze has found the news that there are D-Lunars infesting the sealed cave. It looks like maybe he saved first, but we'll soon learn that knowledge and hopefully check Dwarf Castle and not be too far behind Rivers. This is still a very close race.
I think Blaze accidentally overwrote his save outside.
Oh no.
So if he has to walk out of here with the magma key or without the magma key, that's not going to be all that great. Meanwhile, for Rivers, this is literally a question of how much do you want to grind?
Yeah, we saw him take Palom, but knock him out, so it could be just using Palom as an agility anchor, or could be looking to slingshot him on some Double Dragon experience to get to Nuke. But I imagine he's probably just going to leave the kid asleep.
Okay, Blaze did not overwrite his save, and he will be seeing that there is a node in here in Dwarf Castle, so this is still a somewhat close race, but definitely a distinct edge to Rivers, despite having taken the extra plague fight.
Yeah, that extra plague fight could give Rivers an edge when it comes to grinding if we get a key item out of the Crystal Spear or the Crystal Sword altar. And we still have Water Hag in the free boss pool, so we could see Water Hag maybe at the D-Lunar spot too.
Yeah, definitely a lot of interesting decisions, especially considering the key item count we're at right now. I imagine you almost definitely check the Crystal Sword spot with Fu and with Crystal Sword Cecil. You've got a pretty good chance of getting through here quickly. And yeah, we'll just have to see. Most of the bosses are completely free. You're wanting that 10th key item. You might consider the several different locations to get that last key item, or just go for the grind. You don't need that many levels if you keep a good anchor.
Yeah, I imagine Rivers is comfortable enough with just using Excal Cecil to do all the damage in the Z fight, to do the majority of it, and not having to worry about getting anyone else up to levels to do appreciable damage. Blaze does not take the Quack Kid, feeling very comfortable with his party of melee.
That's actually a interesting decision that will probably lead to even more divergence here at the very end. Blaze does not have the perfect setup for anchoring, and we see a Mom Bomb, so that's gonna hurt, but if we can get a couple blinks up, we should be just fine.
It looks like there are some illusions. Mom Bomb does the job of making the kid go to sleep, which is probably the best person to have attacked there.
Yeah, this is going to come down to Fu casting Nuke at the right time, and that's a dead bomb.
Yeah, wanting to skip that the full explosion into all the little mini bombs should be pretty easy to do.
So with this setup, I think you only need one Siren. You want to get Cecil to 2,500 plus HP. You've got Yong as a backup. I don't know if we have Cure 3 potions, but Yong will be a perfect backup life potion for Fu. And then you just let X-Cal Cecil do what he was always meant to do.
Yeah, and Rivers had picked up extra ethers, and there's a Baron key, so he will have 10 key items after this.
Yeah, so this boils down exactly to do that one siren, use your hourglass, and then go mode, kill everything. Yeah, chat pointing out that without the Earth Crystal from the Plague, Moonblazewolf will not hit 10 key items, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for him. So, yeah, this is just really falling into River's lap at the moment. And
yeah, he's made all the right decisions, and here's the start of the grind. We'll see exactly how many he does.
I highly doubt he goes for more than 1 or 2. He definitely has the ability to go for more, but not really a need to go for more.
Yeah, he might be looking to get Rosa up to Cure 4 and maybe 1900 HP too, just as another backup, just safety, and maybe looking Yang to get to about 4000 HP, where Yang can do some work punching too.
I see Rivers was trying to pull off the Ice 2 strat where you can get 2 life potions off. I'm still not 100% sure how that works, but either way, going to get 180,000 EXP from this fight and should be able to get through this without too much trouble.
And Blaze ditching the Sid for the Fu, probably a little bit sad and disappointed that he didn't check the moon earlier, because that Fu would have helped out so much getting through DK's.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see or to talk to Blaze about that during the interview. And it looks like we are going for a second Ryu fight here for Rivers, and I imagine we're going to be going to Zeromus fairly soon.
And looks like he's life potioning the kid. That's an interesting move that I was not expecting. Maybe needs the extra person entering the queue in order to get off the double life potions. I bet that's it.
To answer Marilyn's question in chat, it's less about having more time to enter the queue. It's just about the fact that Ice 2 has a very specific delay that's fairly good at letting you do that.
And there's 240,000 more experience. We saw a number of levels on his characters. Rivers looks like he is comfortable and is good. I know I'm always a little bit nervous when if I need to go and I'm not totally at power overwhelming levels. Looks like Rosa is definitely within range of dying to an Unearthed Big Bang.
Yeah, this isn't the safest levels you could go in at, but between Berserk Cecil, I don't know if you Berserk Ying or not. You can for extra DPS, which wouldn't be a horrible ideal, but I feel like you just Berserk Cecil, and then you've got 3 safety nets. You got Rosa and Fu on healing duty, and then if either of them die, you've got Yong to just throw a life potion and bring them back up and keep the fight rolling. So I don't know, depends on how fast and how behind you feel. If you feel behind, definitely Zerk that Yong and even throw up a Starvel and start reflecting nukes. But if you're feeling a little bit ahead, then just set back and enjoy the safety. We do have a very important question to ask, though, Antidel.
We do indeed. I see some flags out in chat, and the question for the day is, whose butt are we going to kick this afternoon?
Definitely have to give the fans what they want, show them some randomized Z Sprite. So, any particular sprite you're looking to see today?
I would love to see one of the new approximately 100 or so that Scala has added to the pool with the version 4.0.
Yeah, a new one would be kind of nice. But if we have to see an old one, I think Ha Ha Hamas would be fairly good. This seed has kind of warranted something like that, I feel.
And we have a Chaos Miss. Is this from a Final Fantasy 1 remake?
This is not the
Not that same Chaos?
It's not familiar to me, having played it. It looks like Scala is saying it's from Mobius Final Fantasy.
I'm not sure if it's too bad. It gives us a good opportunity to see a sprite first that we wouldn't have maybe seen, and maybe some incentive to go play that game. Because that is a very cool looking sprite. And blazes through Mom Bomb, has his crystal and 8 other key items. Now just has to grind up the levels to feel comfortable with Z and go.
Yeah, I imagine we might see a different strategy for Blaze going into the grinding. I would at least check the D Lunar spot to see if I could get that 10th key item. But either way, it really works out to about the same time most of the time. And it looks like he might be just going to grind up, and I don't fault anyone for switching to that there. It's just Rivers only needed 2 Sirens, and Blaze is probably going to need 3 or 4.
Yeah, and we'll see how many hourglasses he had left. I think I saw 2 left in Blaze's inventory. And we do see Rosa with a Star Veil, and I see Food chanting, so I think we're getting some nukes bounced off of that Rosa.
Yeah, I mean, you're not in too much danger here, so just keep the DPS rolling. I think Ciso is hitting for about 4,000, Yang is hitting for about 2,000, and then we've got some nukes, so you have to be a little bit careful about triggering the Big Bang into Meteor. This is about the DPS range that can cause that to happen, but as long as you're a little bit careful on making sure you're ready for that end game, you should be just fine here.
Yeah, do you normally do any counting with Zeromus, or any kind of just have a feeling on when you might want to pause for a second so that you don't roll directly from Big Bang into Meteor?
I mean, I don't specifically count. I have specific damage ranges that I'm looking for. Usually about the 8 to 9,000 a round is very close to what will get you Big Bang into Meteor. If you're a little bit closer to the 10,000 per round mark, then you're going to skip the second Big Bang. And if you're below 6,000, you're usually going to see. But yeah, Rivers heads up. He's queuing up the Cure Force. Susso's going to swing. Cure Force is going to come out, and then rocks are going to fall.
And to be just a little bit more explicit, because I do see Rumblefish in chat asking for explanation of Big Bang into Meteor. That's when you get a Big Bang, and then you've tripped phase, so the next action Zeromus queues up is a Meteor. You get very little time in between. If you don't already have a Cure 4 queued up, it's very likely for you to wipe there.
Yeah, it actually looks like the damage range was a little bit off from what I thought it was, but Yeah, we see the meteor coming out. Rocks are falling. Everyone's healed up. This is basically over, and it's
Yeah,
almost time to say GG.
yeah. With the Reberserk Cecil, Rivers is really in no danger. Has no more inputs. Gets his crack boom and a flash. GG's to Rivers McCown, taking first place in this race and going to 2-0.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get him in for an interview here. Meanwhile, Blaze is continuing to grind up on the reuse. His party is still probably, yeah, just missing the life glitch. Yeah, it's getting there, but going to take a few more levels before this is a safe fight.
Yeah, you definitely want to see your Cecil above 20, probably 2400 HP before going into that fight. It looks like we will have Rivers in the booth in just a second. He's probably just kind of recovering from the race, and since our runners were on a 15-minute delay, he's probably just taking a little bit of a moment to get a drink of water, walk around. Here we get some baseball. Rivers and his beloved New York Mets. Yeah, Blaze continuing his grind, probably 1 or 2 sirens away from being able to go, feeling comfortable with it.
Yeah, Cecil's about 3 to 400 HP lower than what I would consider safe. Rosa also 3 to 400 HP lower than what you would want considering our gears. So getting closer, especially if you've already seen your opponent done, then no reason to push the Z fight too far. Just get your levels and finish everything up.
And we are joined in the booth by Rivers McCown. GG's.
Hey, thanks.
So, how do you like jet seeds?
I prefer a long, grindy seed that other people have to fight through, but this wasn't bad. The CPU fight wasn't my finest moment, but otherwise I thought I played it pretty okay.
Yeah, overall, you made some really good decisions in the seed. We were waiting with bated breath over whether you would try to skip out on Fabul or not, but had a slight bit of routing difference with Blaze there, just taking a slightly different route through the early game and eventually ending up in the same spot. Really, it was the Foo on the moon that got you through the DKC the first try, and that really gave you a big advantage going into the seed.
Oh, okay. So he didn't go there. Yeah, that was a play where I was kind of thinking, because I knew Paladin Cecil was there, I checked Baron first this time for once, and I was like, well, if I'm going to have to fight a tough hook boss somewhere, I'm going to want to bump him up in an ogre fight or something. And, you know, if Darkness Crystal's on the table too, then you never know what kind of grind you might get. And I just figured it was best to do for Bull first, get Cecil coming out of there at level 1, and kind of decide where to go from there. And yeah, unfortunately, that DKC was nasty if you did not pick up Foo, so I totally understand.
Yeah, it just came down to Blaze his Sid was right around the 1200 HP mark and was usually dying in 2 hits, and couldn't get the Cure 2s to go off in the right order, and wasn't able to get the 2 he needed after the first wave to survive the third wave. So just kind of unfortunate, but was a fantastic race. Nevertheless, we were when you had the Darkness Crystal, what was going through your mind seeing, oh, I've got access to the entire moon, and my objectives are going to basically tick off very quickly, except for finding Odin.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, there are a lot of bosses on the moon. There are also, Dwarf Castle bosses. I'm guaranteed to have to fight the King Queen spot, the Queen spot. So I knew that I would see 2 more there. I knew the hook was there, so I was kind of like, well, you could do this early and it could pay off, or you could actually play it safe. And when in doubt on these flags, I tend to want to play it safe. And I saw that the foo there, and I checked for the weak, and I was like, well, he doesn't have weak. I could do this, but it would be a lot harder. And yeah, I just wanted to check Bahamut to make sure it wasn't Odin and then head out.
How did you feel about the seed giving you all those drain spears after you rejected Kane, or all those dragoon spears?
I was okay with it, actually. I knew coming in that, because once I had the two and Gomo, it wasn't Gomo, but it was like I knew where 4 or 5 places I needed to go were. I knew that I wanted to have either Sid or Yang survive the party, so that I'd have somebody at Z who had some HP. Unfortunately, I never found Cure 3s, which would have made things a lot easier. But other than that, I think getting rid of Kane was the right move there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of interesting what the seed gave you. It gave you the early X-Cal Cecil, and you also had the Foo, so it's like, well, if you get to the Z fight, you're pretty much golden. You just have to find the Odin, and yeah, we were actually kind of interested when you went and decided to do the plague and then go look at Luca and then walk into Dwarf Castle. We were like, ooh, this could give Blaze a chance to just go straight to the moon and maybe pick up some time. We were assuming if the first boss wasn't Odin, you would go to Earth Crystal and get those 3 boss checks out of the way. But yeah, it was definitely interesting to kind of consider those dynamics and exactly how the seed could have played out, because it was really open to who could pick the best place, and it just happened that you both decided to play fairly safe, and the time difference was just apparent from how things had went earlier in the seed.
Yeah, I feel like if you went up there, if you had weak or something, maybe you take like the rune axe and the mute bell that I bought and go and fight some warlocks, get a few levels. You could probably do mom bomb and then come back. But if you do that, you're kind of orphaning the entire moon too, and that's a play that makes me a little nervous on my stomach, and I'm sure Moonblaze probably tell you the same thing.
But yeah, GG's. Congrats on going 2-0 so far. How are you feeling going into the rest of the tournament?
I'm feeling like anybody can lose any match, which is exciting for our viewers, but terrifying for me. And I'm just hoping to get enough draws so that I can avoid the play-ins, and from there we'll see how it goes.
Do you have any final questions for Rivers, Antidale?
I don't think so. You covered all of them very well. GG's again, Rivers, and good luck on the rest of the tournament for you.
Thanks, guys. Good luck on the rest of the commentary. I know it's pretty short, though. Just kidding. Take care.
You too. Meanwhile, we do have Blaze finishing up his Z fight. It looks pretty standard. Just got 3 physical party members doing the damage, and then a Foo keeping everyone topped up. So I expect to see that flash any moment now.
Yeah, it looks like Blaze has been doing some conserving of Foo's MP with saw Cure 3 a couple times coming out. But needing to bring out the big guns here for Cure 4 to keep everybody topped up.
To answer a question in chat, the Z Sprite seems to be one of the bosses from Final Fantasy Mobius, one of the I think it's just a mobile game, or kind of it's a kind of weird one, but definitely an interesting sprite.
Yeah, Scala in chat pointing out that it was mobile and also is on stream. Did you mean Steam there, Scala? Is that an extra R that crept into that? She says the sprite itself is from Record Keeper.
And oof, Blaze almost taking a wipe there, cutting it a little bit close on the C fight. You can definitely feel the difference, but we are in phase 2. That nuke might, yeah, that does take down Yong, but lifing up Cecil and resurking his cane. I assume he's fairly close to the phase change, medial phase, but just have to see what he can do. He's definitely taking a more passive approach to this fight, and that's not the best considering these HP totals.
Yeah, he could be feeling a little bit like he needs to just play it safe. Hopefully that this Big Bang does not high roll anyone.
Yeah, this is the scary Big Bang. It hits 9 times, so it can hit for 2,700. It's very scary. Fu survives with 9 HP. Yeah, cutting it a little bit close. But I imagine we should be seeing rocks any second now.
Yeah, everybody's back up and swinging. We'll probably trip into media phase pretty soon. It's gonna steal a little MP.
Rely on the Psych spell. That's never good. That takes 10 ATB ticks to cast. If we weren't in medio phase, this would be a wipe. But
yeah, but we've got rocks. We've got a Berserk Cecil. This is just elementary. Yeah. There's the crack boo.
GG. And we will see if we can get Blaze in here for an interview.
Yeah, that was a heck of a run. Pretty close overall. Just Blaze having the difficulty there with DKC is pretty much the entirety of the story of that seed.
Yeah, I mean, you hate seeing the fact that, I mean, Fu's overpowered, and we are joined by Blaze, and we're just gonna have to say that the moon keeps on burning you one way or the other, huh, Blaze? It seems like we're having a little bit of mic difficulties.
I'm good now, sorry. Still had my audio split from this past week.
Sure, no problem. So, tough break there. Had that rude DKC kind of slow you down at the hook and really kind of set the pace for this seed after it being such a fast startup. To kind of hit a roadblock was kind of difficult. How did it feel playing the seed?
I mean, I felt like my start was super good, and I was just really, really happy with how I was playing. I felt like the DKC was more bad luck than anything else, but I just could not get my turn order configured to be able to throw more than one Cure 2 onto Sid, and he just kept going down by like, you know, split seconds. And I think every single person in my party was wearing that ninja hat at some point, trying to figure out the right way to get through that. And then eventually I just was like, I'll just get another level and do it that way. But that was frustrating. I probably lost like 7 or 8 minutes there. And I mean, you can see how close the race was. So that made a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, I don't think the ninja hat on any particular person was changing anything, because by that time everyone was in the queue. It was really just coming down to the fact that there was such a big delay on cast or throwing the cure 2, and it was always happening that Yong would be there and then dying and couldn't throw his cure 2 and wouldn't let Sid get his cure 2 in for time. Just really nasty having to deal with the character menus coming up and trying to throw the cure 2. It's really nasty when that does not want to play with you.
Yeah. Well, and like the other thing was I was just trying to get Rosa to survive like the first wave, because if she could do that, that would also have worked out fine. So it was just frustrating. I mean, I felt like every time I was going down by like less than 100 hit points. And it's just one of those things. Like I figured Rivers found a way to unlock that particular part of the seed a little bit sooner. So I felt like I was cruising right along, and then I just hit that DKC wall, and then I kind of just felt behind. Considering that, I actually felt like I played the second half of the seed really well too. It's just he did not fall into the trap of just going straight up to the moon, from the sounds of it, talking to him after the race, which when I was kind of considering my options, that was the route I decided to go, was sticking around on Earth and hoping that Odin was there before I went up to the moon.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the gambles you have to make. I think when we were talking to Rivers, he did say that he felt like playing it safe. He took out the Plague in the Leviathan spot and was checking bosses, so we were very much wondering whether you two would make different plays and if that would give you a chance to pull back into the seed, but fortunately you both chose the same path. It's just with the Fu and with the... It was probably, as you said, 8 minutes or so on the DKC, just slowing you down, having to eventually turn on encounters and everything. It's tough, and you did get through it, but it did put you at a significant disadvantage.
Yeah, but that fight's just going to be tough for most people, and you know, I feel like this is the kind of seed that I still am able to get the win, you know, most of the time. But you know, playing against Rivers, you spot him 8 minutes like that, you're probably going to lose. So you know, it is what it is. I'm really happy with how I played otherwise, and I'm ready to keep going here for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of bad luck for you today, but I mean, no shame in losing to Rivers or honestly anyone. The amount of competition in this tournament is crazy, and it just comes down to someone has to lose. So hopefully you're able to turn this around and continue on in the tournament. How are you feeling with the rest of the tournament laid out?
I mean, I caught a little bit of when you were talking to Rivers earlier, and I basically feel the same way he does, which is that anybody can win anytime. That being said, I do feel like I've been playing really well lately, so I like my odds against basically anybody. And I feel like I can, you know, do really well, and I have a pretty good idea of how I want to progress through most seeds at this point. So I'm pretty happy with where things are at. I just have to win 2 out of 3 now to advance, and that seems pretty doable to me, honestly. So it's just one of those things about like Swiss tournaments, and it's actually part of why I really like this format for the event so much is, you know, you don't have to wait until way deep in the tournament to see a match like this one or a match like the one later tonight in Venerable and Dark Paladin. You know, you get really good consequential matches all throughout the event, and I think that that's just such a cool feature of this particular tournament that we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. It gives anyone a chance to do anything, and we're going to have a bunch of very good matches. I'm looking forward to the Invenerable match as well. Did you have anything else to add, Antidote?
No, Blaze, I don't want to face you in the one-on-one bracket, so I hope we don't get paired against each other, because you're definitely going to be a scary fight. And good luck to you in the rest of the tournament.
Hey, thanks. I'm looking forward to the next round as well.
GG's on the game, and you did play very well. Just happened to get stymied by that one, as you said, very close fight with DKC that you almost had a number of times.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, good luck in the rest of the tournament, and hopefully you're able to make it up to the bracket stages. You just need at least 2 more wins to reach the play-ins, and if you can go 3 wins for the next, you'll be guaranteed a spot in the brackets. So look forward to seeing what else happens for you.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for doing the restream today. I really appreciate it. Everybody who helped out today.
Yep, and speaking of that, huge shout outs to our restream team, Scala Kitty jumping in last minute to help us get this going, Gambit substituting in also to help with tracking, doing a very good job, and my co-commentator Antidel was great working with you, and it does look like we are planning a raid here. I'll let Antidel tell you guys a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we'll be visiting Accident, who's one of a member of the FE community, although he normally plays vanilla. And so we'll be going to getting a little bit of vanilla Final Fantasy here for your Sunday afternoon. Be sure to give the runners and the restream team a follow if you have enjoyed what's going on. Thanks for spending your afternoon with us, and hope you all have a good day as we go visit Accident.
Have a great day, everyone.